Hello, my article focuses on hypersensitivity in people with an acquired brain injury, ABI, or a traumatic brain injury, TBI, and looked at how participants' sensitivity to environmental stimuli is heightened, exploring how they cope and how their ability to process sensory information is affected. The sample size had 18 participants who either had an ABI or TBI and were recruited from a medical clinic. There were semi-structured interviews conducted, and the questions focused on different sensory domains, what consequences the participants had since the injury, and what coping strategies they had developed. All the interviews except for one were held in person and were all recorded for audio, which was then transcribed and anonymized. The results of this showed that all participants had issues with handling stimuli in different sensory systems, as some participants reported they were unable to filter out irrelevant stimuli from their environment, and leading to a sense of exhaustion and feeling overwhelmed. Similarly, other participants said they had difficulty handling multisensory stimuli, as they were unable to pay attention to only one aspect of the stimuli or activity that they were in. An example was, when watching TV, they would have trouble only focusing on the person speaking and instead would feel overwhelmed from the moving pictures on the screen as well as other background noises. However, one participant said they had difficulty synchronizing information from one stimuli to other sensory systems. An example they gave was when in conversation with someone else, they would have difficulty synchronizing the voice of the person with the movement of their lips. Overall, the participants said that they felt fatigued more often since their injury, and this would make it more difficult and demanding when having to put direct attention on focusing for stimuli and processing it. Also, majority of the participants developed coping strategies, such as using devices to lessen or block out some parts of the stimuli when in daily life, such as going to a shopping mall or a busy restaurant, and they would do this through noise-canceling headphones or sunglasses. Some participants, though, said they needed to plan out their day more accordingly so they knew what stimuli to expect from the activities that they were going to do. A strength of this study was the use of a semi-structured interview, as this allows researchers to ask follow-up questions to avoid misinterpretation, and this gives the participants to say more instead of being confined to a very blunt or short-ended question. Also, with the semi-structured interview, the researchers get very rich and personal and unique data, which can be very helpful. However, a weakness of this was the small sample size, as it makes it difficult to apply these findings to the general population. Moreover, this study only focuses on people who have hypersensitivity and a brain injury. And with the findings about hypersensitivity, it can't be applied to other populations that also have hypersensitivity but don't have a brain injury. And an example of this would be people who have autism spectrum disorder.